Yeah, while all this is going on and everybody's speaking out, Roger Goodell, Donald Trump, the players, one person that has not been speaking at all is Jerry Jones. He still not has said a word about the racial tension. And he's been called out a couple times by a few players. No one notably is Richard Sherman. And I think Des Bryant said, he needs to do something about this stuff too. How do you guys feel about the guy that owns the most lucrative NFL team on the planet, still hasn't said anything about everything that's going on?
I've never looked at Jerry Jones as the guy to look up to. I've never seen him as the leader. Maybe he's the financial leader, maybe he's the macho guy or whatever, the cowboy, but that I've never seen Jerry Jones as the guy that I'm gonna be like, oh, let me wait to see what Jerry says. Like, I've looked, as much as I think Mr. Kraft is a double-sided kind of guy, like he might act good in front of you and not be good behind your back, I still think I would wait for Robert Kraft to say something before I look for Jerry Jones to say something. Jerry Jones is to me he's a nasty old man. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna look. So is Robert Kraft, but Robert Kraft has done more things in the public eye that are what do you call that? Good, I guess, but
or humanitarian.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. He's done more of that than I've seen Jerry Jones do that. So, to me,
Robert Kraft is very generous. We know that.
Absolutely,
He likes to be generous at parlors.
And look at what he did for the poor guy.
I heard it, of course, John. Of course.
Look at what he did when COVID happened. You know, took his plane to China, blah blah blah. All that is great. So all I'm saying is, I'm not looking for Jerry Jones to do anything. Like, Jerry Jones, to me, he's not the upstanding citizen that's gonna like make things happen. Whether he should say something or not is a different story. I definitely think he should say something. Am I disappointed that Jerry Jones didn't say anything? I'm just saying I didn't expect any better.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Do you feel like Jerry Jones should be saying something, Barry?
Yeah, definitely.
What should he be saying?
And he should be speaking up and should be in support of the Black Lives Matter protest and movement.
Why?
What do you mean why? I mean, look who he has playing and working for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has many black players on that Cowboys team that go to war for him each and every Sunday, particularly the most high-profile players on that team. When you think of the quarterback, Dak Prescott, the running back, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, the top receiver.
The offensive line.
Yeah, a good part of the offensive line is black. I know they have like one or two offensive linemen that are white, but the majority of them are black. DeMarcus Lawrence, who's a good defensive player. He's also black. I don't know if you guys know who Gerald McCoy is. He's a new defensive lineman from the Bucks that they just signed. And he was another person who actually also called out Jerry Jones for not speaking up and for being his silent. He was on First Take this week with Stephen A. and Max.
We drafted CeeDee Lamb.
The Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb. That's another one. Another black player. So that you get my point that he has all that these, black, players who are part of his organization and are, a big part of who the Cowboys are today. So I'm sure they would greatly appreciate and be grateful of him actually saying something that has, I'm sure, deeply affected those guys in terms of, in terms of, not only their own lives, but I'm sure their families' lives as well that have been impacted by this. So I'm surprised those guys up until now haven't really pushed Jerry Jones to say something. I know there are players that work for him, so they can only really do and say so much. And Jerry Jones is, to me, one of those guys that Jerry Jones is gonna do what he wants to do and say what he wants to do. Yep. Like if he doesn't, and he's always about his bottom line. So if he is not gonna do something or say something that he doesn't feel like saying or doing, he's not gonna say it regardless of what people think. Like he's always gonna do him regardless and be his own person and do whatever he thinks is best for him and is what's in best interest for the Cowboys and for his bottom line at the end of the day, since he's a businessman. Yeah. So he's not gonna do anything that affects him from that standpoint, but I do feel like he definitely deserves it. To those guys that I just named, he should at least, say something in regards to the social injustice that has been going on in the country, because he's one of the most high profile people in the NFL and in all of sports. Right, whether you like the guy or not. Like when he says something, I know he says a lot of things that, people aren't really fond of, and that and that a lot of people don't really like. But I mean, when he speaks up and says something, that carries a lot more weight, and it is even louder than the majority of the owners and the majority of the people in sports that speak up and say something. So I feel like in that sense he should definitely at least have some sort of courtesy and some sort of respect for all the guys that work for him and that associated with that are Black and African American, to show some sort of support through this tough time that the Black American, the Black community is going through right now. I'm sure those guys would definitely greatly appreciate it.
No, I definitely agree. I think I'm with both of you guys, because both of you guys. Well, you said you didn't care to hear it, but he should say it. Yeah. And I definitely agree with that. And you just think he needs to come out and say something, period. And I think I'm leaning more towards Vlad, as I don't look at Jerry Jones for like any type of guidance at all. Well, whenever anything happens, I don't see him as a guy that's gonna take leadership. You know what I'm saying? But when things are getting fucked up, I can see Jerry Jones, being like that front runner, he wants to change this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to like owner meetings or like rule meetings, or when it comes to the draft, I'm going to be in the room, I'm going to make the picks. You got, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
it's like stuff like that, So, he's a rash guy, man, and I'd be very, very surprised if Jerry Jones came out and actually said Black Lives Matter and supports the guys. What I thought was very interesting while we were having this conversation is I remember the video the NFL players made recently. Was Dak Prescott on there? I don't believe he was on there.
No, but Ezekiel Elliott was on there.
Was Zeke on there?
I don't remember.
I know someone from the Cowboys was on there. I don't believe Dak Prescott was on there, but I think Ezekiel Elliott was. They had at least one player on that team.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually disappointed Dak wasn't on there. And it's like, bro, you're a black.
He should have been on there. I agree.
You're coming up on a big ass contract. You know what I'm saying? This is the time you could use. All the leverage you can to actually make that happen. So
for sure,
hopefully he comes out and says something. But I know him; he's more of like the, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. When it comes to like his stance against like what happened with Colin Kaepernick, if you remember, he wasn't really trying to touch it. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, I respect. I'm gonna stand for the flag. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So,
but he did speak up on it, and he has spoken up on other controversial things and subjects that have happened in the past. So it's kind of surprising how when all this is going on he's not saying a word. We're not hearing from him when he's an outspoken guy and a guy that usually doesn't hide behind closed doors and is usually, out there speaking his mind and getting his word out there. So I'm kind of surprised that you guys are surprised that you're not looking for him to say anything and that you don't expect for him to say anything, knowing that like he's a guy that is not shy and is always gonna speak his mind.
Great. So you're surprised that we're not surprised? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. I mean,
but it's Jerry Jones. Nothing he says.
No, seriously. Like if you think back on like
nothing
any
he
kind
says
of
I
issue,
agree with. Nothing he says comes out and said that I'm like in favor of. Like when the players were kneeling for the flag a couple years ago, he didn't want his players to kneel during the anthem. They kneel in the middle of the field after the anthem, but during the anthem he didn't want. Like he was against that. I don't look for Jerry Jones to come out. I'm saying he should. He definitely should. He should support his players, especially if the NFL gets to play this fall. I expect his players to kneel, and I want to see what he does when that happens. But as far as Jerry Jones is concerned, I don't look for Jerry Jones for the powerful message on what to do.
Hey, at least we got.
But I just looked up the video. Zeke was on there multiple times, but Dak wasn't on there.
Dak wasn't on there. Good for Zeke, man.
Yeah, big shout outs to Zeke.
Yeah, at least if Jerry Jones is not saying something, the other guys that are in places of power are doing some things, like the Patriots. Before the NFL came out and said that they were observing Juneteenth, I think the Patriots were one of the first teams to actually give the players the day off. So shout outs to them, man. And they haven't been in like the best light as of late since Donald Trump came in. Not just because of that, but like I think that added some fuel to the fire for the fans and stuff like that, and how the fans reacted to the players raising their fists and stuff. So I'm glad to see that they're taking, a lead on this and putting it in the forefront and doing something about it, man.